From Islamabad, Pakistan, journalist and political analyst JAVED RANA on the line. Morning to you. Maybe some people could have seen this coming. What do you think Iran's message is here? I mean, it's keeping this caveat that it's not totally pulling out of it. It's had a year to brew on this since Trump pulled out. What's the message it's sending? And in practical terms, what's Iran likely to stop doing then?
Well, there is no exit clause in the peace deal, in the nuclear deal. That is not in that context not going to happen, and Iran could not have waited for next 5 years to wait for the expiry of the sunset clause. So I think the options with Iran are that there is a possibility it may start some sort of research on nuclear program. Now, these are ambiguous terminologies that Iran can possibly use, and it can possibly go for some sort of enrichment. But again, Iran is conscious of the fact that in case it goes beyond certain clauses, that means it will give an excuse to the European countries, to the other countries who were signatories to this Iranian nuclear deal. Yeah. They might go along with the U.S. sanctions. So I think Iran is in a very tough situation.
Trump a year ago said the reason he was doing what he was doing was because Tehran wasn't abiding by what it agreed to. Did he have a point or not?
I think the American itself, they have not followed the nuclear deal. So I think by blaming Iran, I think there is no moral justification. Iran might have breached some of the clauses, but I think more than that, the responsibility squarely lies onto the U.S. because there was no point of pulling out of this deal when the other European countries were not ready for it. And that is actually, it is a message that in one way or the other, the U.S. is trying to make its way, trying to bully Iran. But again, the option with Iran also, we should not forget that they may use some alternative methods to export their oil, and that is the gray market. That's a smuggling route, and I think that possibility cannot be ruled out. And simply, Iran sooner or later is going to go for that kind of option. Now, when U.S. talks that there is a possibility that the Iranian proxies can attack the U.S. interest in the Middle East, that possibility cannot be ruled out because Iran has its proxies in the Middle East. Hezbollah is there, but Hezbollah at the same time is overstretched. And there is a possibility that some of its proxies may open up new fronts with Israel from Lebanon. That is one such possibility which cannot be ruled out. But that is something, again, easier said than done, given the fact that Iran is already facing tough time back at home. Economy is already in bad shape. Iran really doesn't want to confront with the U.S. I think for the time being, it would try to play in media, try to send a message across the world that they can do something, they can go for enrichment, they may withdraw from the NPT. But practically, JAVED, I think the options with Iran are limited.
Yeah, I was going to say, reaction's still going to come in. This only came in overnight. I mean, it wasn't just America involved here. Of course, it was that the P5+1, the permanent members of the Security Council, including Russia, will get the Russian official reaction to this, I'm sure, later in the day. But I'm just remembering back a year ago, Angela Merkel absolutely vocal that Trump was doing the wrong thing here, and a lot of other people in Europe as well. They wanted, because this deal took so long to thrash out, they wanted America to stay on board. I wonder what the EU are going to say this morning. Will it be a united chorus or not?
Of course, publicly, the EU is going to stand by Iran because their interest lies with Iran. And morally speaking, it cannot support the US because US simply is trying to put pressure on Iran, trying to bring Iranian export to the zero level. That is something easier said than done. European Union is going to back Iran, but at the same time, we should not forget that Tehran is not very happy in the way the European Union have conducted its business with Iran after pressure from the US. So Europe is basically playing on the both sides of the divide. Legally speaking, Europe is supposed to stand by Iran. But behind the scene, its companies, they are not cooperating with Iran as the Tehran was expecting.
So 60 days to thrash this out. I wonder what's going to happen. I mean, if you had a crystal ball, great. But I wonder what's going to happen in 60 days' time. Is it going to be the same impasse, or do you think there's a genuine opportunity to get things back on board here?
I think there is a huge frustration level on the part of the US because it has not been able to actually bully Iran to a point where it can listen to its demands. At the heart of everything is the Israel, because Israel is putting a lot of pressure on the US, and that is the reason that this nuclear deal was scrapped. But I think, very importantly, because there are 6 to 8 countries which have been importing oil from Iran, those countries can possibly go to the UAE, can go to the Saudi Arabia, but will the Saudi Arabia, will UAE and other oil exporting countries be able to bridge the gap? That's again something easier said than done. So it is going to be, I think, grey market. It's going to be smuggling upon which Iran is going to rely upon.
So many irons in the fire on this story. It's so layered, isn't it? JAVED RANA, journalist and political analyst, thanks ever so much for your perspective on it this morning on the line at short notice from Islamabad. Appreciated. Thanks for being with RT.